Hey, Metaverse people, we're back with more PodFest Asia coming up in under 3 minutes. Our live interview with Dirk, Lueth, co-founder of UplandMe. So UplandMe Incorporated is a really fascinating blockchain-based platform that lets users purchase virtual property based on real-world maps and collect rents and also trade with other Uplanders. So how does it all work, and what are the plans for expansion? So there are many things that we want to talk about, and without further ado, let's welcome my next guest, Dirk, Lueth. How are you, my friend?
Hey, good morning, good evening, wherever you are.
Yeah, it's 5:30 p.m. right here in Singapore, getting dark. So, I have to turn on my lighting very shortly. What time is it over there?
Well, actually, right now I'm in Europe, right? And it's I think it's 11:30 or so, right? Yeah, it's 11:30 shortly afterwards.
Fantastic. So you're based in Europe. Which part of Europe, by the way?
Actually, I'm not based here. I'm just traveling in Europe right now. Man, thanks. Travel is possible again. I can't believe it. But anyway, so no, I'm usually based in San Francisco Bay Area, Silicon Valley. I'm just here for a couple of days.
Fantastic. And we all want to go back traveling soon. Like I've been stuck here doing a remote podcasting for the past 1.5 years. It's time to get out there and do in real live podcasting interviews with real people. So, but of course, we really welcome you coming into this remote virtual podcast studio and doing this virtually. And we want to maybe start off by diving right into the basics, because we do have many cross-pollinated audience and listeners from our other network of podcast shows. Like we have the CMO Asia podcast, PodFest Asia podcast, Buckley's Bands podcast, Sports Gaming Live podcast. So it's maybe quite appropriate to do maybe a crash course for our new listeners, as well as those who are now watching this live taping on LinkedIn as well. So maybe we start off by asking you and pick your brains, help us to break down some of these hard to grasp terms for some of the laymen. Yeah. What exactly is blockchain? What is Bitcoin versus Ethereum? What is the difference? And also, what is a decentralized application? Over to you.
All right. Okay. Let's start maybe with the easiest thing that most people understand, probably heard about, is Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is let's say, a digital currency, which has started, by a group called, or one person, Satoshi Nakamoto, a couple of years ago. Nobody knows who they are. They just launched it, and it's a digital currency which is based on blockchain technology. And today, as we all know, Bitcoin, it goes up and down. The price, it started out as a little cents, and as today, I didn't check, but it probably in the 30,000s of dollars for one Bitcoin. It's quite interesting to see. But Bitcoin was when it was launched roughly 10 years, a little bit more than 10 years ago. What people discovered only after 2 or 3 years' time is that that is based on a very interesting technology which is called blockchain. And blockchain technology is basically what we say, in specific terms, we say it's a decentralized ledger. But basically, the idea is, let's say, a decentralized database, which is kind of public, where you can see transactions, right? And when I try to explain it to laymen, it's basically the idea is that when the internet web 1.0 was basically the idea, you could have web pages. Then 2.0 was all the social web, but now it's 3.0. That's what blockchain is about. It's about the exchange of value, right? A secure exchange of value. What Bitcoin does, but you can exchange any other type of value, which we're probably going to discuss a little bit later today. And Ethereum was another blockchain which was launched, some years back, which is actually a little bit more programmable, because Bitcoin was a little bit harder to do additional code on it, on top of it. But with Ethereum, you can actually do and start developing other applications called decentralized applications, or dApps, right? What they are. However, Ethereum was not the end of it, right? There's so many other blockchains out there which have different purposes, different advantages. For instance, we are on the EOS blockchain, which has a huge advantage when it comes to energy consumption. For instance, we were very, very cognizant about that. We're using very, very little of that, way less than Ethereum and Bitcoin, but just a note. But yeah, that's what the basics are.
Fantastic. One more basic question. What is a social token, and what is NFTs? Also, what is DeFi?
So let's start with the social token. Social token is something, what maybe individuals can give out, maybe also even maybe a club, a sports club, and so on, right? It's just like you let's say you tokenize yourself, you give it out, and there's different, things you can get. So you can purchase that social token in some places, when you're a celebrity, and then what you can do with that token is basically that you get maybe earlier access to some of the artwork of the celebrity, or access to a song, or it's some kind of a loyalty thing. We're going to put it very simple as that, right? Then the second question was DeFi, I think, right? DeFi stands for decentralized finance. And here the idea is basically that you can do a lot with this new type of exchange of value. And basically it cuts out the middleman. It cuts out the banks in most of the times where, you can directly, put some of your money on the left side, then because you put it there, I try to explain very easily, and then you actually earn some kind of interest, and because you put your money there, and but there's nobody in between, which makes it very interesting and very cost efficient. Yeah.
And definitely we want to dive into the topic of whether we could even see our virtual properties, right? And into this very interesting world of DeFi as well. So maybe we'll just start off by one of the things that you mentioned earlier. You mentioned about the word celebrities, right? So we know that many pioneers of industries, they're the first in terms of like building metaverses, actually like the gaming platforms, the crypto, the fashion, and even Hollywood, right? So in addition, like so many apparel brands, celebrities, and even musicians are going into the gaming metaverse these days. So we want to ask you, can we say that all these things that you have just broken down for us earlier on, all these basic terms, they're all tied into a metaverse? Why is this metaverse skyrocketing at this moment?
Yeah, see, so that's a great question. So first of all, I think I forgot earlier to explain what an NFT is. NFT stands for non-fungible token, and it's very closely tied to now question about the metaverse, right? So NFT is basically it's a unique thing, right? When you take Bitcoin, for instance, one Bitcoin's like the other, but an NFT is unique. You have a unique piece of art which is referred to on the blockchain, right? So that's a very important thing. But why is the NFTs and metaverse are so closely connected together? Because when you have now an NFT, and you probably have heard about that, some art has been sold for millions of dollars. But what do you do then, right? You purchase that art, it sits in your digital wallet. Maybe you put it up on your, maybe just a copy of that on, like a screen in your home, or, in your real home. But you cannot do a lot of things with it. However, the metaverse, and we know what the metaverse, maybe quick explanation is, it's like some kind of a parallel world, right? But metaverse is also what you have in Fortnite or in other games. But in the context of NFTs and a blockchain, the metaverse becomes now so more compelling, because everything you do, and when we talk about NFTs, we talk about true ownership of things. And what you can now do is you truly own something in that metaverse, and you give it context, right? Or some utility. So when you purchase now, let's say an NFT, which is a virtual race car, now you can drive that race car in the metaverse, right? So now it becomes interesting. Now you can also sell it, because what is very important in the context of NFTs is because true ownership means if you don't own it, you cannot sell it, right? When you're in a traditional game, right, the game operator can always take stuff away from you. But on the NFT metaverse, they cannot be taken away from you. And that makes it so compelling, and you can sell it again. You race the car, and then you don't want to race it anymore, you sell it to someone else. So that's a easy way of going about it.
This is fantastic. And of course, we need to deep dive into UplandMe, because it's really intriguing. I think it's really unique as well, as unique as NFTs. Yeah. So we understand that UplandMe, is one of the fastest growing games on the blockchain, with so many metaverse growth that we are seeing happening almost every month, right? You have just celebrated a major milestone. If I didn't read incorrectly, it's like 1 million NFTs that are minted in 18 months on this platform alone. So I think recently in June, the 1 million UplandMe property was actually minted as an NFT on the blockchain, right? So what inspired you to start UplandMe?
Yeah, what's inspired us? So, I mean, personally, I started the company together with my two co-founders, Manny Honigstein, Idan Zuckerman. They're from the gaming space. I'm more the blockchain person, how we always say. We had one of those, fun game nights. Actually, we played the game Monopoly. We all probably know from our childhood, right? Everyone's playing it, where you have to purchase streets. Actually, you have to collect the streets with the same colors, and you can build houses and hotels on it. You're trying to collect money from others, right? So we get somehow inspired by that, right? We saw the exchange of value from Monopoly when we played Monopoly at one game night. Said, why don't we take that idea further? Put it on the blockchain, and of course, and then go much further than just the pure monopoly idea. And that's how we came up with the idea of Upland. We always say also, we watched the Stranger Things series on Netflix. I don't know if you're aware of it. This is also deals with a parallel world. So that's exactly what we say. Okay, hey, we take the real world. There's so much stuff you can do. Combine it, with the virtual world. And yeah, we see the screens here right now, which is I think right now you're in New York, or yeah, I think that's New York, right? And that's where you can actually go and do some stuff. Right? So yeah, so that's how we came about with Upland.
This is brilliant. So I'm looking at the Manhattan map, right? So basically, I can buy any of the properties or virtual properties here, right? So like, I'm going to just do an experiment because I'm a huge David Bowie fan. And I know that he owns a house before he passed over to the other side, of course. He owned a property in New York. So I always wanted to own a David Bowie house. If I'm not wrong, I think his address is 285 Lafayette Street. So I'm going to check whether it's available, yeah? So we're doing this entirely live, and it's great to be able to see this taking to the gaming platform on a blockchain. And this is a really great way to actually allow us to feel some of our desires as well, right? So I've always been a huge fan of the game Monopoly. So does it mean that if I'm actually able to search for any address, it would show up and I could actually just make a purchase right away using the currency which is on your chain, right? Is it called UPX?
Yeah, so UPX. So the way it works, the way we built Upland was really with having the average consumer in mind, right? So we don't in our world, they don't have to deal with the complicated blockchain stuff, private keys, wallets, and passphrases, right? All you need is a password and an email to sign up. We're also available on iOS and Android, and on the web as well. And then you can actually purchase on the web with a credit card or PayPal. You can purchase Apex, and those what you see also on top there, right? Your Apex balance. So Apex is our in-game currency or in Metaverse currency, and with that you can actually go and purchase things in Upland. Right now it's basically properties, but in the future you will purchase many different types of NFTs in Upland. And $1 equals 1,000 Apex. And once you purchase a property, the nice thing is that you start earning. So there's a little bit DeFi aspect here. You start earning an income on it, a yield. So it's actually 17% a year on the original, what we call mint price, when the property has been, created for the first time. So that's how it works. But you can increase that when you start completing collections, very much like Monopoly. Collect properties on the same street, or collect maybe 3 museums, and then you increase that yield, right? And then, of course, when you have more Apex, you can purchase more properties.
This is brilliant. I'm already having so much fun, exploring this virtual map on UplandMe, of course. So, so many things that you guys have been building, and also, there's this ability to own a piece of virtual land and to even construct a virtual building, right? And actually fit it with decorations or even like NFT art. So maybe tell us more about the possibilities and what we can expect in the pipeline.
Yeah, so Upland is based on those 3 pillars: play, earn, connect. And when we say play, the idea is that we have those game engagement points, right? So you collect properties. So that's the first idea. But then we have treasure hunts, we have scavenger hunts, we have live events in the app where things are happening, where you can collect more, you can get some more Apex and so on. The second pillar, where we say after play, is earn. Earn means that you, of course, you can now buy a property and then maybe sell it for a higher price. That's good. right? But however, what we eventually also see is that people can make money in Upland going forward, in the sense that they operate a business there. So they can operate maybe an NFT gallery, art gallery. They sell, buy and sell, virtual, art in on their property, or they maybe operate a virtual car dealership, or they sell maybe outside decor to other players, right? So because people want to beautify their properties with a virtual fence or with a virtual water fountain or something. So that's the second component. And the third component is connect, where we want people that can connect, like a virtual settings, a virtual coffee shops, and so on, right? So where everything, however, always mixes with the real world. Earn, I have to add also, what is interesting is that you will be able to import NFTs from other blockchains, and which makes it very compelling, from Ethereum and so on. And you can sell those NFTs for US dollars, right? So that's also the way you extract monetary value out of the metaverse again, if you want to do it, right? You can sell for UPEX, or you can sell it for US dollars.
This is amazing. What are some of the success stories, or should we say, those Uplanders, right? This is what you call your community members affectionately. How does Uplanders actually find success in terms of like either owning a piece of virtual property and able to flip it in the secondary market? What are some of the real, big returns that you have seen, so far in your community?
So, I mean, first of all, people come also to play because they just like, the whole engagement and, and collecting and trading properties with other players and so on, which makes them excited, or participate in the scavenger hunt, right? To be there the first and to find, where we have virtual piñatas, which we then have to, open up and so on. So that's a lot. But to your question is, we have people who had, purchased properties maybe for 100, depends, $100, but then sold it for $10,000, right? So that has happened, multiple times so far. I of course, there's absolutely no guarantee or something this will always happen, because what we are doing here, this is an open economy, Upland, right? It's not a pseudo game economy or whatever, what have you, right? It works like in real life, right? You have to find a buyer for your digital goods, otherwise, you sit on it, right? But of course, if you have a digital good in a very, highly desired neighborhood, or, someone needs it for complete a collection, well, here you go. Then you have maybe a buyer.
This is amazing. And I think I recently read as well, it really caught my attention, like the NYSC building, right? The exchange can actually fetch a fair bit of UPX in UplandMe, and it's actually worth full like 23K right now. So that's how much it was sold for last December. Is that right?
Yeah, that is correct. Actually, we had a higher sale even right now. So we sold the Rockefeller Center in a reverse auction. So we started out at 40 million UPEX, which is equivalent of 40,000 US dollars, and it sold within 10 seconds, right? So that's actually the highest sale we've had so far on the platform, right? And overall, as you said, we sold over 1 million NFTs. We have 500,000 registered users so far, with roughly monthly active users, 200,000. Yeah, so people are super engaged, always coming back, checking the portfolio, trying to trade something and so on. It's really fun.
Yes, I'm equally thrilled and excited about the perspective to actually rebuild the world and eventually even make a living in it, right? And it's always fun to own all these properties that have a special meaning. Like I just mentioned, David Bowie's house in New York, right? He has a lot of value and emotional attachment to his fans. So I'm sure that people will be really, trying to secure that address ASAP, maybe even after watching this live stream. And it's always a thrill to flip properties. Of course, to do it in real life, it costs a lot of investment money, right? But to do it virtually, it brings down the barrier of entry, and you could also enjoy this community and make friends as well. And I think this is one area I want to zoom into, because connect is another aspect that's really fascinating. So we are now seeing so many people trying to connect either in the metaverse or in games or even in virtual reality galleries, right? When you put on your VR headsets as well. So how is this connect going to be, developed into an area where people can just basically just socialize and interact with each other in a virtual coffee shop in one of the lands that they purchase in UplandMe? Help us to paint that scenario.
Yeah, so the scenario is the following. First of all, we already have a huge community today on Discord, right? So we have a little bit less than 30,000 people who are always, chatting there and doing things. We run events in there as well and so on. So what we are launching a little bit later is actually this Connect pillar where people will be able to meet in virtual settings, and there will be different virtual settings because people might want to meet at a stadium, right, where their favorite, sports club is hosted, right, and want to discuss, sports, whatever, or they meet in a virtual coffee shop. But what we will also do is that people somehow can mix it then with the people who are there in real time, right? So it's going to be, it's not launched yet, and I cannot disclose at this moment exactly how, what it's going to be. It should be a surprise, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be something which you haven't seen before, right? So, which is, because communication is, that's what we're all about, right? Connecting with other people, with like-minded people. And we already see that people are purchasing, even though they are from all around the world, they pick a property, let's say Dog Patch in San Francisco, and because they have common interests around certain art, and they somehow gathered there together. So we call that new hyper local communities in a certain sense, right? So there's really, people are coming together because of their interest, not because where they live. It's a really interesting, let's say, social experiment.
This is really true. I think like in the age of social media, right? Everyone likes to post content that they want to maybe share their message or their beliefs or values. And in the Web 3.0, it's an entirely different ball game because now it's about what kind of virtual property you own and what kind of NFT art you actually fit into those virtual properties. Thereby also increasing that value, right? Much the same way where physical art does for your physical property. And that's where, if people discover in your wallet, oh, you actually own this virtual property and you own this NFT art, that defines you as, who you are. And people are actually attracted more to that person, right? And this is how you find like-minded people and really connect in a really, truly special and meaningful and emotional way, right?
Absolutely. All right. And then you can change it, right? You can, also you can then in the future will be able to, add to your avatar, which we call Block Explorer, certain things so that actually represent your digital identity in that virtual world, right? And what we see today, some people use their real identity, even their real name, and some people want to stay behind, some fantasy name, which is totally fine, right? Because we, whatever you want to do, we're open to that.
This is amazing. I'm really excited by the possibilities. And of course, I'm sure that everyone who is now in this metaverse, they're also very excited to bring more real world brands into their own world. And of course, you're also very interested to bring real world brands into Upland as well, right? So understand that, you're going to be introducing many location-based service and features to start blurring the real world with the Upland metaverse. Could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so we have a really clear strategy to bring these real world brands in. We just announced, that we have a partnership with Hyperloop. I don't know if you know, this is a very fast train once announced by Elon Musk. And so you can take the Hyperloop between Cleveland and Chicago, two cities which are open, right? So that's one thing. And we're talking to lots of car manufacturers. Hopefully we can announce some, the next few months. And what we sooner probably will announce, we're talking to a lot of celebrities and very, famous sports brands at the moment, and that's also what we want to bring in, because we believe that the fans, they want to interact with the person they love, they follow or whatever, also in the metaverse. So that's all coming.
And how excited are you with the imminent launch of this rumored Apple AR glasses that's going to bring this metaverse and truly make it mainstream for anyone who is still not fully aware with the possibilities right now?
Yeah, I can't wait for that, right? For the Apple glasses. I think Amazon's launching something. I'm sure Google will do something, right? So it's going to go mainstream. I hope it's coming next year. And as soon as they bring it out and we know we can develop on top of it, I mean, hey, we're all in for that, right? The people can go to a coffee shop, right? And then wear those glasses and then see maybe their virtual friends in there, sit down together and exchange some digital goods or maybe even real goods. I don't know, right? It's just the possibilities are so endless, right? What we can do is just, I just can't wait for that.
And this is amazing. And the Metaverse is already here. Web 3.0 is already here because tech builders like you and your team are building all these cool platforms that allow us to immerse ourselves in this virtual world. So before we let you go, we want to do a quick rapid fire round with you. So the rules are pretty simple. You just need to give me really pithy and short responses, maybe one sentence or two maximum. So are you ready?
I'm ready. Go.
Let's go. What are your proudest life moments?
My proudest life moments is when I swam, personal, you mean private, right? Yeah. When I crossed together with some friends Lake Tao, a big lake.
Wow. What do you want doing less of in the rest of 2021?
I actually, I'm all Upland right now and bring, the greatest product to our community.
And what do you want doing more of in 2021?
Have more social interaction again with people. I mean, real interaction also, right? Combine it with virtual, but both things together would be great.
Your advice for NFT artists out there?
Pick your platform. Try to differentiate. And pick a good platform where which is sustainable. In terms of environment.
Any future ambitions or side projects?
No, it's because I'm completely focused on Upland right now, because it can go so many directions. There's no side project really needed. I mean, the only thing I do is always I help also here and there other startups, right, to get off the ground. That's what I love, helping others.
How can people reach you?
Reach me on Twitter. It's quite simple. At Dirk Lueth, ping me there, right? And and here and there on Telegram and Discord as well.
Fantastic. Any last message or last words for our listeners who are replaying this podcast on their AirPods or smart speakers later on?
Hey, people, be creative, right? That's the time to, because, we have so many things in the real world, but in the virtual world, you can become creative like never before and, get started now.
This is fantastic. And, before I prep for this show, right, I went to UplandMe and signed up as a member as well. And thank you for awarding me 4,500 UPX. I think every member gets that when they sign up, right? So this is basically a public service announcement to all our listeners to go check out UplandMe. And of course, you can connect with Dirk on his Twitter. That's his handle right below. Thank you so much for gracing our event and doing this live taping with us. I really appreciate you and I hope to see you in real life, hopefully in New York or Europe in the future.
All right. Okay. Let's go for it. All right. Thanks. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Cheers.
All right. Bye.
And that's Dirk. You can check out UplandMe on their website, UplandMe.com. And of course, he's the co-founder of UplandMe, and they're doing some really exciting, innovative stuff and building so much great tech over there. Do check it out and receive your 4,500 UPX when you sign up. So that's the end for our session for this evening. I'm going to grab dinner and be back at midnight Singapore time with 3 more guests on the Metaverse Asia podcast. So I'll see you later on. Goodbye.